Also this morning, a week of high-stakes trade talks ahead for President Trump. His trip comes as he pushes to counter what he calls narco-terrorism in the Caribbean. Friday, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced he's sending an aircraft carrier strike group to the region.
President Trump now headed to Malaysia, and that is where we find Peter in Kuala Lumpur, ahead of the president there. Peter, so much on the agenda for this trip. Tariffs, national security, but I want to start with this big headline this morning, this major escalation in Venezuela.
Laura and Joe, that's right. Good morning to both of you from here in Kuala Lumpur after what was a 24-hour travel day for us to get to Malaysia. You could hear the evening call to prayer in the background here. As for that military buildup in the Caribbean, it is a major escalation, of course, by the president after weeks of targeting what he says are drug-running boats in the region. The Pentagon announcing that the USS Gerald Ford, that is the Navy's newest and significantly its largest aircraft carrier, as well as many as 5 destroyers and dozens of aircraft are headed to the waters off of Latin America. President Trump is specifically ramping up pressure on Venezuela and on its authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro here. The deployment of that carrier group follows a massive show of force late this week with the U.S. flying B-1 bombers within about 50 miles of Venezuela. That's according to a defense official and to flight data. And as for those strikes we've been reporting out on alleged drug boats, the U.S. says it has now struck a total of 10 of them. The administration saying 43 people have been killed. They've released videos but have not provided additional evidence. And that is drawing a lot of new scrutiny here. Democrats and several top Republicans are now questioning the strikes, all of which have been done without the approval of Congress. And those lawmakers, Joe and Laura, are demanding more information about the specific intelligence behind the strikes.
So, Peter, as all this is happening in the Caribbean, the president now making his way to Malaysia for this summit with leaders from the region. What's the deliverable? What's he hoping to achieve?
Yeah, it's a good question. The president, as you note, is on his way now for what's going to be a nearly week-long tour of Asia. Japan and South Korea are also on the docket after his first stop here in Malaysia. This is his first visit to this region since returning to office. And amid the president's aggressive tariffs, a lot of Asian nations really are anxious to try to stabilize their relations, their ties with the U.S. White House officials tell me that the president is expected to tout new investment deals, as well as a recent ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. But to your point, the headliner of this trip is going to be the first face-to-face with China's President Xi Jinping. It's the first they've had in 6 years. It's going to happen during the president's last stop taking place in South Korea. Aboard Air Force One overnight, President Trump sounded, I think, optimistic that he and China's president will come to some agreement on trade. If not, he's already threatened to slap an additional 100% tax on all Chinese imports to the U.S. that would go into effect 1 week from today, November 1st. The president overnight also saying China will have to make concessions and acknowledging notably that the U.S. will likely have to make some concessions as well. Joe and Laura.
All right, a lot on the agenda. Glad you're there for us there. Peter, we're going to check back in with you in a little bit.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.